I never thought I'd end up scrubbing floors for a living. But life in this godforsaken city has a way of grinding you down until you're on your knees. That night, when Evelyn Hargrove screamed, "Maids must obey," and flung her Merlot at my face like I was some disposable rag, I didn't cry or run. I stared her dead in the eyes and whispered, "Not anymore." By dawn, as the first light hit the Hudson, I was already plotting how to dismantle her perfect little empire, brick by hypocritical brick. It started 6 months earlier, back when I still believed loyalty was a two-way street. My name's Layla Ruiz, 32 years old, born and raised in the Bronx, daughter of a single mom who cleaned houses until her hands cracked like old leather. I got my associates in business from community college, dreamed of opening a small cafe in Astoria, someplace with strong coffee and pan dulce that reminded folks of home. But dreams don't pay rent in New York. So I took the gig as live-in help for the Hargroves. They were old money, the kind that whispers about philanthropy at galas while stiffing their staff on overtime. Victor Hargrove, mid-40s, hedge fund wizard with a jawline like a shark and eyes that lingered too long. Evelyn, his wife, 10 years his junior, a former model turned socialite, all sharp cheekbones and sharper tongue, presiding over their Upper East Side brownstone like a queen on a throne of unpaid labor. I moved in with a duffel bag and a prayer. Assigned to the third-floor maid's quarters, a closet-sized room with a twin bed and a window overlooking the alley dumpsters. My duties? Everything Evelyn deemed beneath her manicured nails: laundry, meals, errands, and playing invisible while she hosted her wine-soaked brunches. Victor was the wild card, charming in that Wall Street way, always slipping me an extra 20 for going above and beyond, his fingers brushing mine a beat too long. I ignored it at first. Bills don't care about red flags. The betrayal hit like a freight train on a rainy Tuesday in April. I'd been up since 5, prepping Evelyn's kale smoothie and Victor's espresso, when I overheard them in the master suite.
Door Alyar.
Voices like knives. She's on to us.
Bik, Evelinisa.
Her heels clicking on the hardwood. That little spick maid saw the texts. If she talks. Victor's laugh was low, oily. She won't. She's desperate. Immigration papers pending. Remember? We own her. My stomach dropped. Immigration? I'd been legal since I was 18. Green card stamped, and everything. But they didn't know that, or maybe they did. And it was just leverage. The texts? I'd glimpsed Victor's phone that morning while folding his suits. Messages from his mistress. Some in turn half my age, laced with heart emojis and hotel bookings. Evelyn knew. Hell. She'd been covering for him, deleting evidence, even wiring money to the girl's account to keep her quiet. And me? I'd walked in on them arguing about it weeks ago. Seen the safe cracked open with cash bundles, hush money for the affair that could have tanked Victor's marriage and his firm's reputation. I should have quit right then, packed my shit and ghosted. But Mom's cancer had come back, stage 3, chemo bills stacking like Jenga, and the Hargroves paid double what anyone else offered. So I swallowed it, played dumb, kept my head down. Until the safe went missing. Not the whole thing, $50,000 in cash. Gone from the study safe 2 nights after a gala where Evelyn got sloshed on champagne and Victor vanished for an hour with the intern. The cops showed up at 8 a.m. Sharp, badges gleaming under the foyer chandelier. Evelyn, draped in a cashmere robe, pointed a trembling finger at me. She did it. I saw her near the safe last night, snooping, like the ungrateful thief she is. Victor nodded solemnly. eyes averted, while their lawyer hovered like a vulture. I protested, loud, furious, but my prints were on the safe dial from polishing it days earlier. And my locker in the basement had a false bottom with a wad of 20s I'd squirreled away from tips. Planted. All of it. They didn't arrest me on the spot, too messy for their crowd, but the detective hauled me downtown for questioning. Fingerprints and all. Hours blurred into a nightmare of fluorescent lights and styrofoam coffee. Look, Layla, the cop said, a weary Irish guy named O'Malley. Off the record, these people bury bodies for breakfast. But evidence is evidence. By evening, I was back at the brownstone, pending investigation, with Evelyn's icy glare following me like a curse. Clean the silver, she snapped. And remember your place. That was the deep cut, the secret I'd buried for them. Months prior, during a blizzard that shut down the city, Victor had crashed his Bentley into a guardrail on the FDR, drunk off single malt after a business dinner. No witnesses but me. I'd been sent to fetch his forgotten phone from the car. He begged, call Evelyn, not 911. It'll kill my career. I did. Covered for him. Lied to the tow truck guy about the time of pickup. In return, a pat on the back and a bonus check that bounced.
Now.
They pinned the theft on me to deflect from their own skeletons the affair cash that could have been traced back to embezzlement from Victor's fund. Nights blurred after that. I'd lie awake in my coffin of a room, staring at water stains on the ceiling, plotting in whispers. Revenge wasn't a word I grew up with. Mom taught forgiveness. Rosaries at St. Mary's. But this was survival. I started small. Anonymous tips to the post about Victor's extracurriculars, vague enough to sting without backlash. Circulation spiked. Evelyn's brunch crowd whispered. Then bolder, hacking their smart home system with a library computer and a borrowed VPN. I looped their Ring cameras, fed false feeds of intruders to spook them into paranoia. Evelyn cracked first. Paranoia turned to rage. One humid July evening, after a fundraiser where Victor schmoozed donors and she nursed grudges in the corner, she cornered me in the kitchen. I just plated her seared scallops, perfect, golden crust when she snatched my wrist, nails digging in. You're the leak.
Aren't you?
Stirring shit because you can't handle your betters. I yanked free, heart pounding. Betters? You mean thieves framing the help. Her face went volcanic. Maids must obey, she shrieked, grabbing a decanter of Cabernet from the counter and hurling it. The glass shattered against my collarbone, wine soaking my uniform like blood, shards nicking my skin. Victor burst in. Ty Askew. But instead of intervening, he smirked, that same shark grin. Clean it up, Layla. And pack your things. You're fired. I didn't flinch. Wiped the Merlot from my cheek with the back of my hand, tasting copper and grapes. Fired? After you framed me? Enjoy your karma, Evelyn. It's got your address. I walked out head high, duffel slung over my shoulder, into the muggy night, the brownstone's door slamming like a guillotine. Dawn broke over the city like a hangover, gray skies spitting rain on the sidewalks. I crashed at my cousin Rose's in Harlem, a walk-up with peeling wallpaper and the constant wail of sirens. Mom's treatments ate my savings, but fury fueled me now. That first day, nursing bruises and a split lip from the glass.
I dove deep.
No more half measures. I needed proof, the kind that burned. It took a week of stakeouts, blending into crowds outside their office, tailing Victor to his meetings,
The intern?
Real name Chloe Bennett. 24. Wide-eyed Yale grad slinging lattes at a midtown cafe to make ends meet. I approached her on a lunch break, coffee in hand, playing the sympathetic ear. Heard you're tangled with the Hargrove. Victor's a user, trust me. I worked for him. Her eyes welled. Stories spilled. Not just an affair, Victor had groomed her. Promised promotions. Then used her to siphon client funds into offshore accounts. Evelyn knew. Laundered the money through her charity galas. Chloe had the emails. Bank statements, digital gold, if I could get them. But trust is a fragile thing. Chloe ghosted after one meet, spooked by a warning call from an unknown number. Evelyn's doing. No doubt. That's when I went dark. New burner phone. Fake profiles on LinkedIn posing as a recruiter. I fed Victor a lead. Hot tip on a disgruntled ex-employee spilling to the SEC.
He bit.
Scheduled a discreet meet at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen. I showed. Hooded and shadowed. Recorder hidden in my sleeve. He ranted, sloppy drunk, about that maid bitch and how they'd handled the safe incident with a little C4 to the evidence locker. C4? Christ. They hadn't just planted cash. They'd rigged a distraction explosion at a rival's warehouse to cover tracks. Manslaughter charges waiting to happen. The recording was dynamite, but incomplete. I needed Evelyn's angle, the betrayal's rotten core. Backtracking through their trash, dumpster diving at 3 a.m., gloves and all. I found it, crumpled Gallo invites, stained napkins, and a USB drive, miraculously intact. Plugged into Rose's ancient laptop. It bloomed videos. Evelyn, high on coke at a party, confessing to a mirror. Vic thinks he's the kingpin. But I run this show. That maid? She saw too much, the crash. The girl. So we bury her. Like we buried his little secret.
Buried.
The crash hadn't been clean. A pedestrian, a homeless vet, had been clipped. Left bleeding on the shoulder. Victor drove off. I called Evelyn to handle it. She did, with a payoff to the family and a falsified report. I'd carried that lie for them, thinking it was just a fender bender. Rage crystallized. No more games. I compiled the dossier, recordings, emails from Chloe, hacked her cloud after she bailed. Trash trove scans. Anonymous drop to the DA's tip line. CC to the Times investigative desk. But revenge isn't a solo act. It needs teeth. Enter Marcus Tate, a PI I'd met through Rose's church network. Ex-cop. Bitter divorcee. Owed me for covering his sister's hospital bills once. This Hargrove scum? I'll bury M for half your cut, he growled over black coffee in a diner booth.
Cut?
I didn't want money. I wanted ashes. Marcus moved fast. Tailed Evelyn to her yoga sessions, code for dealer meets in Soho lofts. Snapped her snorting lines off a mirrored tray. Companion a city councilman with re-election woes. Victor? Busted at a strip club. Not with Chloe, but a ring of escorts tied to his funds entertainment slush. The flip came mid-August. Heat wave choking the streets. Evelyn, sensing the noose, flipped on Victor, filed for divorce in family court, claiming abuse to snag half the assets. Victor countered, leaking her coke habit to tabloids. They tore each other apart in depositions, lawyers slinging mud like it was confetti.
Me?
I watched from the shadows, feeding Marcus crumbs to keep the fire stoked. The climax hit on Labor Day weekend, the city emptying for barbecues while the Hargroves' world imploded. I'd orchestrated the meet, anonymous email to both. Safe contents recovered. Neutral ground. Central Park Boathouse. Midnight. Storm clouds gathered. Thunder rumbling like applause. I arrived early. Wired for sound. Marcus in a van 2 blocks out. Evelyn first. Stilettos sinking in the grass. Face a mask of Botox and bile. You, she spat as I stepped from the shadows. The maid. This you're doing? Call me Layla, I said, voice steady as the lake's black mirror. And yeah, for the crash. The frame job. The lies I swallowed so you could play house. She laughed hollow. Unhinged. Lies? You were complicit.
Girl.
You called me that night. Remember? Blood on the snow. And you begged me to fix it. True. I'd begged for Victor. For the job. For Mom's meds. But her eyes gleamed with that mummer's flip. Join me. Vic's done. We split the empire. I'll make you rich. Temptation clawed. Rich? No more scraping. Mom's treatments covered.
Cafe in Astoria gleaming.
But her smile, predatory, same as the night she threw the wine, killed it. Too late. Evelyn. Cops are en route. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing.
She lunged, not with fists, but words. You'll regret this. Maids obey, or they break. Victor burst from the treeline, then, wild-eyed, flanked by 2 goons, private security, bulks in ill-fitting suits. You bitch, he snarled at her. Then me. Both of you, ruining everything. Chaos erupted, shoves, shouts. Evelyn clawing at him like a feral cat. I backed away, heart slamming, as Marcus's backup, NYPD plainclothes, swarmed from the gloom. Cuffs clicked, accusations flew. Victor claimed Evelyn orchestrated the theft to frame him. She screamed he pimped her out to clients.
Me?
They turned, Detectives O'Malley among them. Ruiz, you're the tipster. This your revenge play? I nodded. Rain starting to slick my jacket. Justice. Detective. There's a difference. But as they hauled the Hargroves away, Evelyn shrieking obscenities. Victor silent and seething, doubt wormed in. Chloe testified later. Deal for immunity. She'd known about the pedestrian. Even helped bury evidence for a cut of the hush money. My victim? Tainted. And Mom? During the trial. Chemo failed. She passed in October. Whispering on her deathbed. Forgive them. Mija. Hate eats the soul. The twist landed in November. Frost biting the parks. DA cut a plea. Hargroves copped to fraud. Conspiracy, 5 years probation. Fines that'd beggar lesser souls. But they lawyered up. Assets shielded. Evelyn's final flip, in a jailhouse interview with 60 Minutes. She claimed I seduced Victor. Stole the cash out of jealousy, a Latina scorn narrative that lit up Fox News. Pundits debated, was I hero or homewrecker? Victor's book deal followed, painting himself the victim of entitled help. Public split, Justice for Layla trended alongside Drain the Swamp Maids. Karma knocked.
All right.
But as I stood in Mom's empty apartment, eviction notice in hand, Cafe dreamed dustier than ever. I wondered, did I win? The empire crumbled. Sure, Hargrove Fund dissolved. Gala's ghost towns. But Evelyn's words echoed. Maids obey. Or they break. I'd broken them. Maybe. Or just myself. Winter clamped down on the city like a vice. Snow piling on fire escapes and burying the sins of summer under dirty slush. Trial adjourned for holidays. Irony of ironies. The Hargroves out on bail. sipping eggnog in some Hamptons hideaway while I scraped by on temp gigs, cleaning offices in Midtown that smelled of stale ambition. Rose's couch was home now, her kids' toys crunching underfoot like accusations. "Tia Layla, why you sad?" little Sophia asked one night, crayon in fist, drawing a house with a maid's sweeping blood-red snow. I forced a smile. "Just tired."
Mia.
Big bad wolves got chased away. But wolves don't vanish, they circle. Post-trial buzz faded, but Evelyn's smear stuck like gum on a subway seat. Online trolls dox me, address, old photos from high school, mom's obituary twisted into karma for the thief's spawn. Job interviews dried up, background check issues, they mumbled. Marcus called with updates. Hargrove's settling civil suits. But whispers say they're rebuilding. Victor's got a podcast gig. Betrayed by the help. My story. I laughed. Bitter as black coffee. Revenge's aftertaste?
Ash.
Flashback to the crash night. The one I buried deepest. February gale howling. Visibility 0 on the FDR. Victor's call at midnight. Layla. Car trouble. Pick me up, discreet. I borrowed Rose's beat-up Corolla, cursing under my breath. Windshield wipers slapping like judgment. Found him swerved off the shoulder. Bentley crumpled against concrete. Headlights dimming like dying eyes. He stumbled out, reeking of scotch and fear. Slurring. Just a scratch. Drive me home. But then the shape in the ditch. A man. 40s maybe. Coat ragged. Clutching his side where blood darkened the snow. Hit and run collateral. Victor froze. Oh God.
No.
Call Evelyn.
I did.
Hands shaking. Phone slipping on the dash. She arrived in an Uber, poised even in crisis, whisked the vet to a clinic off books. Paid off the ER doc with a fistful of hundreds. Tell no one, she hissed at me later. Over chamomile tea in the kitchen, like we were gossiping neighbors. Victor's future depends on it. I nodded.
Fool that I was.
Thinking of my own future, green card secure. Mom's meds flowing.
The vet died en route.
Official cause exposure. Family too broke to sue. I Googled them later. Wife in Queens. 3 kids. Buried him in Potter's Field. That secret festered. A tumor I lanced in therapy pro bono at the YWCA. Circle of women sharing war stories. You didn't kill him, the counselor said. Soft southern drawl cutting through my guilt. You survived them, but survival's a lonely road. Christmas Eve. Alone with takeout lo mein and a muted TV playing It's a Wonderful Life. I cracked. Texted Chloe. Need your help. One last push. She'd relocated to Brooklyn. Waitressing. Dodging Victor's calls. Met at a dive in Williamsburg. Neon buzzing girls, girls, girls. Ironic as hell. Her eyes were haunted. Makeup kicking shadows. Layla. They're monsters. Victor promised me equity in the fund, then laughed when I asked for my cut. She slid a thumb drive across the scarred table. Everything.
Wire transfers.
The works. But Evelyn?
She's the brains.
Flips like a coin, sweet 1 minute. Venom the next. We plotted over cheap tequila. Leak to ProPublica. Tag the SEC again. This time with Vet's family as plaintiffs in a wrongful death suit. Controversial? Hell yes, dredging a corpse for headlines. But justice delayed is justice denied.
Right?
New Year dawned with fireworks and fallout. ProPublica dropped the bomb. Hedge fund heirs' deadly secret. Cover up in the snow. Photos of the crash site. Reconstructed from traffic cams I'd anonymously sourced. Evelyn's response? Oppressor in pearls.
Tirs artfully smudged. Tragique accident.
But blaming us? That's the real crime. Exploiting a dead man's memory for clicks. Victor echoed on his pod. Voice gravel. That maid? She drove the getaway car. Complicit. Lies. But they landed. Pundits picked sides. CNN hailed me a whistleblower. Breitbart called it invasion of privacy by the nanny state. Maid revenge trended. Memes of me as a cartoon Latina with a broomstick AK-47. The flip that gutted me came from Marcus. Over burgers at Shake Shack. Face grim under his perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. Chloe's singing for the feds. Says you coerced her into the leaks. Immunity deal. Coerced? I bought her drinks. Listened, never pushed. But doubt crept. Had I? In that bar. Desperation leaking from my pores? She flipped too. Victim turned villain in her narrative. I confronted her voicemail. Since she blocked me. Layla.
Sorry.
They offered more. Protect yourself. Betrayals echo chamber. I spiraled. Nights pacing Rosa's fire escape. City lights mocking my isolation. Mom's rosary beads clicked in my pocket, a talisman against the dark. Forgive, she'd say. But forgiveness felt like surrender. Instead, I doubled down, hired a hacker kid from Craigslist, 20-something with neon hair and a moral compass of rubber.
Dox the doxers, I said.
Traced the trolls to bot farms in Eastern Europe, but one led home, Victor's cousin, a tech bro in Silicon Alley, paid to amplify the smears. Spring thawed the streets, but not my resolve. The vet's family, Martinez, turns out, same blood as half the Bronx, reached out via Marcus.
Widow Elena.
Steel-haired and soft-spoken. Over weak tea in her Astoria kitchen. He was coming home from AA. Finally clean. Your story. It gives us voice. We filed the suit together. Class action vibe. Roping in other victims. Interns stiffed. Charities defrauded. Evelyn's charity. A front for laundering. Audits revealed. Her flip then leaked docs to the judge, claiming Victor forced her hand. Battered wife syndrome. Her lawyer spun. Victor countered with nudes, her sending, his evidence of entrapment. Tension coiled like a spring. May Day parade down Fifth. Red flags waving irony. I slipped into the brownstone, key I'd forgotten to return. Empty now. Echoes in the halls. Silverware mocking from drawers. In the study safe unlocked. Arrogance. I found the kill shot. Evelyn's diary. Leather-bound venom. Pages of rants. Victor thinks he's clever. But I orchestrated the maid's fall. She deserved it, snooping on our bliss. And the twist. The crash? I suggested the detour. Payback for his wandering eye. She'd engineered it. Lured him drunk. Knowing the storm. Misdirection for her own affair. A trainer with abs like granite. Hand trembling. I photographed every page. This was the core, the scheming heart. But as I slipped out, sirens wailed, neighbors spotting the shadow. Cops at the door. Elena's suit in hand, breaking and entering. Remus. Ruiz. O'Malley again. Pity in his eyes. Self-inflicted.
Kid.
They're winning. Or were they? Diary hits the cloud. Anonymized. Viral by morning. Evelyn's empire, socialite status, crumbles. Invites revoked. Friends ghosting. Victor's pod cancelled mid-rant. But the controversy? exploded. Debates raged. Vigilante justice or felony? Heroin or harpy? I holed up. Rose's kids my only light. As subpoenas flew. Summer heat returned, sticky as regret. Chloe recanted, conscience or cash. Who knows, testifying for us. Layla didn't coerce, she empowered. The flip chain snapped. Hargrove's plea sweetened, prison time looming. But in the courtroom, Evelyn's last stand, eyes locking mine across the oak, whispering loud enough for mics. You think you won? We're the same, hungry dogs fighting scraps. Was she right? As verdicts loomed, Mom's ghost whispered doubt. August baked the courtroom in a sauna of fluorescent hum and whispered asides. Federal building on Foley Square. Marble halls echoing like a tomb. I sat in the gallery. Third row. Wedged between Elena Martinez and Marcus. Sweat beading under my thrift store blouse. The Hargroves entered like royalty in chains, Victor in a bespoke suit, Evelyn in Chanel tweed, both radiating that upper-crust defiance. Judge Harlan, a grizzled vet with a Brooklyn accent, banged the gavel. Counsel, let's cut the theater. We've got emails, recordings, a diary that reads like a mob confessional. Prosecutor Reyes, a firebrand Latina like me, but with Harvard polish, laid it out: fraud, conspiracy, manslaughter cover-up. The defendants didn't just steal money, they stole lives. Pedro Martinez, left to die in a ditch.
Laila Ruiz,
framed to protect their facade. Exhibits flashed, my wine-soaked uniform photo anonymized. The diary scan. Chloe's tearful video depot. Evelyn's lawyer, a silver fox named Langford, flipped first. Objection, character assassination.
S.
Ruiz entered the defendant's home unlawfully. Stole property. Gasps rippled. Camera's word from the press pool. I gripped the bench. Nails digging wood. Unlawful? I'd confessed to O'Malley pretrial. Plea for leniency on the BNE. Now it boomeranged, painting me the villain. Victor's turn. Smug testimony. Layla was jealous, seduced me for access. Then betrayed when rejected. Lies layered like varnish. Jury shifted, two men in the box nodding. Faces creased with that believe women. Except this 1-inch skepticism. Recess hit like a gut punch. Elena squeezed my hand. Mija. Truth cuts both ways. Marcus lit a smoke outside. Marlboro glow in the haze. They're lawyering the narrative. Classic flip, make you the aggressor. He was right. Post-lunch, Evelyn took the stand. A masterclass in mummer's art. Soft voice. Handkerchief dabbing eyes. I was trapped. Your Honor. Victor's rages. The drugs he forced. Layla knew. Pitted me. But she twisted it, blackmailed us with a crash secret.
Blackmail?
I'd never asked a dime. Jury leaned in.
Wrapped.
The controversy peaked that afternoon. Cross-exam. Reyes hammered. You threw wine at her. Mrs. Hargrove. Called her maid like a slur. Why? Evelyn's pause, cinematic, then fear. She threatened my family.
Gasps again.
Langford objected, sustained. But damage done. Twitter, X now. Whatever, lit up, Evelyn victim trending. Think pieces on class warfare gone wrong. I was the divider. Whistleblower or witch. Night fell heavy. Hotel room paid by the DA's victim fund. Stale air. Minibar calling. I paced, replaying her words. Trapped? I'd seen Evelyn at galas. Commanding rooms like a general. But the diary contradicted, her plotting the detour, goading Victor's drunk drive to teach him. I slipped Reyes a note. Ask about the trainer. Next day. Boom, affair exposed. Evelyn crumbling under questions. Irrelevant. He was the abuser. Victor's flip came swift. Turned state's evidence mid-trial, implicating Evelyn in the laundering. She ran the show, framed the maid to cover tracks. Chaos, mistrial motions, sidebar huddles. Jury dismissed for deliberation. Faces unreadable, mix of suits and uniforms. Mirroring the divide.
Me?
Outed fully now. Face on CNN. The maid who brought down Manhattan. Praise and pitchforks. GoFundMe surged for Mom's Memorial Cafe. But death threats pinged my burner. Deliberation dragged 3 days. City pulsing indifferent.
Rosa baked flan.
Kids chanting, Tia wins. Elena prayed novenas at St. Lucy's. Marcus scouted exits. Paranoid. If they walk, they'll come for you. Paranoia infected me too, shadows in alleys. Cars idling too long. Fourth night. Twist dropped. Chloe at my door. Rain-soaked. Duffel in hand. I lied again for you this time. Told the feds Evelyn coerced me. Not Victor. Her eyes raw. Redeemed. We're the same. Layla. Betrayed girls flipping scripts. Alliance reforged. Fragile as glass. We hold up. Watching verdict livestream from a diner booth. Greasy spoons and hope. Gavel fell at 2 p.m. Guilty on all counts. Manslaughter reduced to negligent homicide. Controversial plea bargain. But fraud maxed. 10 years each. Evelyn's scream echoed through speakers. You bitches. Victor silent. Head bowed. Courtroom erupted. I stood.
Elena hubjing fierce.
Tears salting our cheeks. But victory's razor edge cut deep. Post-sentencing. Evelyn's confession letter smuggled to the press. Layla Ruiz isn't a hero. She's a manipulator who used my vulnerability. Attached. Forged texts. Me demanding payoffs. Langford's doing. Muddying the win. Public cleaved, op-eds debating. Revenge porn or righteous rage? Chloe vanished again. This time to Cali. Starting over. Marcus cashed his check. Faded. Your war. Kid. Fall leaves turned the park gold. But my world grayed. Cafe funded. Crowdfund hit 50K, but opening night loomed haunted. First customer?
O'Malley.
Off duty. Badge pinned like a medal. You did good.
Ruiz.
Messy. But good. Messy. That word clung. Hargroves appealed from Rikers. Delays stacking. Evelyn's flips continued. Jailhouse conversion. Finding God. Penning a memoir. Victor? Suicided rumors. Debunked as accident. I flipped too. In therapy. Was it worth it? Mom gone. Trust shattered. Counselors nod. Revenge heals wounds, it opens wider. True. But as snow dusted again, karma's knock echoed, not at their door, but mine. December mirrored that fateful winter 2 years back, winds whipping confetti from parades, holiday lights mocking the dark. The cafe. Ruiz's refuge, ribbon cut in November. Hummed with locals, baristas slinging cortados. Walls papered in Mom's recipes. A corner altar with her photo and flickering votives. Success on paper. Reviews glowed. Lines out the door, but inside, I rotted. Night shifts alone. Steam wand hissing like accusations. Replaying Evelyn's whisper. We're the same. Appeals dragged into 26. Hargrove machine grinding gears. Victor's book dropped, bestseller. Ghosted by a Fox pundit, twisting the tale. The Maids' betrayal. How one woman's envy destroyed a dynasty. Chapters on me. Layla. With her calculating eyes. Wormed in like a Trojan horse. Sales funded their lawyers. Irony bitter as burnt espresso. Evelyn's memoir followed. Self-pubbed from lockdown. Obedience and obscenity. A socialite's fall. Her flip? Portrayed as victim of toxic loyalty. Me the enabler who pushed her to drugs. Pundits ate it. Podcast debating who's the real monster? Public's divide deepened. Justice for Layla morphed into Hargrove innocence. Rallies outside the cafe, protesters with signs. Maids obey or pay. Counter-protests. Elena's church group. Chanting psalms. One night. Brick through the window. Glass shattering like that wine decanter. Note taped. Karma's a bitch. Cops shrugged. Hate crime? Or just New York? I boarded it up. Hands bleeding on shards. Chloe's last text haunting. Run.
Girl.
They never stop. The buried secret resurfaced in January. Snowstorm burying the city again. Anonymous package at the cafe, brown paper. No return. Inside, flash drive and a Polaroid of the brownstone study. Safe ajar. Drive played audio. Evelyn's voice. Tinny from prison phones. Langford. Bury the maid deeper. That diary? Forgery. Planted on her. Then Victor. Overlapping. Do it. She took everything. My blood iced. They'd flipped the script entirely, framed me for the frame-up. Leaking evidence to their allies. I called Marcus, retired now. Fishing in Florida, but he answered groggy. Layla? Christ. What now? Wired the drive to him overnight. He verified. Deepfake audio. But convincing. They're outmaneuvering from inside. Appeal hearing next week, they'll use this. Panic Claude. Elena over. Sue them again? Defamation. Costly.
And who believed the maid now?
Twist uncoiled at the hearing. Virtual. Screens flickering like bad omens. Judge Harlan. Brow furrowed. New evidence. Counsel? Langford beamed pixels. The forged diary pages. Time-stamped to my phone IP. MS. Ruiz fabricated to extort. Gasps virtual. Chat exploded. Reyes countered feebly. Circumstantial. Deepfake tech. But jury pool for retrial? Poisoned. Harlan delayed verdict. Further review. I broke then, drove to Rikers under cover of dusk. Visitor pass greased by O'Malley. Evelyn in the booth. Orange jumpsuit clashing her complexion. Smirk through plexiglass. Come to gloat. Maid. I leaned in. Voice steel. The audio. Your last flip. Her laugh tinkled. Clever girl. But why stop? Victor and I reconciled in here. Therapy. They call it. Planning the comeback. Reconciled? The monsters mating. You destroyed us, she purred. But look at you alone. Scraping lattes. Who's broken now? Glass fogged with my breath. I carried your crash. Your lies. For what? Her eyes, cold quartz, flip soft. Pity.
Then.
Join the appeal. Testify we coerced you. Book deal. Your cafe franchised. With same. Layla survivors. Temptation slithered again. Richer now. Security. Vindication laundered. But mom's beads burned in my pocket.
No. Rot.
Driving back. FDR blurring. Epiphany hit. The pedestrian's ghost. Pulled over. Called Elena. The family, Pedro's kids? Scholarships in his name. She wept. Yes. Mija. From the fund. Crowdfund leftovers.
Yes.
Small justice. February brought the hammer. Appeal granted. Retrial. Hargrove's free pending. Media circus reignited. Vans clogging Astoria streets. Cafe boycotted by half. Boomed by the other. Chloe resurfaced. Email from LA. Heard about the deepfake. I got proof. Langford's emails. Sending. Alliance echo. But as trial loomed, my flip. Therapy revelation. Revenge chained me, I told the circle. Time to break free. Spring bloomed, tentative. Cherry blossoms defiant. Retrial opened, same courtroom. New jury diverse.
Wary.
Reyes led with fire. Not revenge, a reckoning. Exhibits refreshed. Chloe testifying live. Voice steady. They used us all. Evelyn's stand? Weepy. Reformed. Layla was right. I was the villain.
Flip.
Blaming Victor fully. Seeking reduced sentence. Victor raged. Liar. She planned it all. Jury deliberated 2 days. Storm raging outside. Thunder punctuation. Verdict. Guilty. Harsher. 15 years. No flips left. Appeals exhausted. Evelyn scream final. You'll pay. Ruiz. Victor catatonic. As cuffs clicked, doubt lifted partial. But karma's knock? At my door. Elena with lease papers. Co-own the cafe. Layla. Pedro's legacy. Chloe visited. Partner in tow, new life. Marcus texted. Proud. Kid. Yet in quiet nights. Wine stains faded but scars itched. Was it happy? Tragic? The debate raged. My story option for Netflix. Maids reckoning. Viewers divided. In power or excess. I flipped the sign to closed. Beads clicking. Forgiveness? Maybe tomorrow. Summer 26 sweltered. Humidity thick as unresolved grudges. Cafe thrived. Morning rush of suits and strollers. Air scented with cinnamon and fresh brew, but I ghosted shifts. Handing reins to Elena's niece. A culinary whiz with dreams bigger than mine. Go live. Tia, she urged. Apron dusted flour.
Live.
Word weighed heavy post-trial. Hargrove's appeals crumbling like week-old churros. Victor cracked in solitary. Full confession taped. Mailed to me care of the DA. You win.
Made.
I broke first. The crash was my escape from her. Evelyn? Silent. Transferred to women's pen upstate. Rumors of a breakdown. The final twist slithered in August. Heat lightning flickering canyons. Package again, no sender. But postmark Rikers. Inside. Evelyn's memoir manuscript. Pages dog-eared. Underlined furious. Dedication. To Layla Ruiz, the daughter I never had, who taught me obedience's cost. Pages bled confession. Her childhood in trailer parks. Modeling worlds chew. Marrying Victor for armor. The flip chain? I saw myself in you. Betrayed.
Hungry.
So I betrayed harder. To feel power. The crash? Her sabotage? Yes, but to force Victor's hand. Expose his flaws. You carried my sins, as I carried my mother's. Forgive. Or become me. Tears blurred ink. Monster humanized, controversial as hell. I burned it in the cafe's back alley. Flames dancing like ghosts, ashes scattering on the breeze. But seeds planted. Therapy circle evolved to support group. Survivors brew. Women sharing scars over free refills. Chloe keynote, first meet. Voice amplified. Flips don't define. Choices do. Public's debate peaked with the Netflix drop. 6 episodes. Me consulting paid. Finally. Critics cleaved. Gripping takedown of privilege versus glorifies vigilantism. Ruiz as anti-hero gone rogue. Viewers split dinner tables. She deserved worse versus empathy for Evelyn's trauma. Maids must obey trended ironic. Merch popping, t-shirts with the wine hurl. Proceeds to domestic worker funds. Karma's last knock? September equinox. Golden hour gilding the Hudson. O'Malley called. Hargrove update. Victor's testifying against Langford. Full circle. I thanked him. Hung up. Walked the High Line. Rails humming with trains to elsewhere. Mom's Cafe? Franchising slow. But Astoria spot anchored. Pedro's mural on the wall. Kids' scholarships funded. Rose's family over Sundays. Laughter drowning echoes. Was it happy?
Café Bloom.
Alliances forged. Chloe godmother to Sophia's baptism. Marcus holiday cards from the Keys. Tragic? Scars lingered. Trust fractured. Nights waking to phantom shrieks. The divide? Eternal, me included. Right or wrong? No absolutes. Just the messy middle where revenge births redemption. Last dawn. I stood on the brownstone stoop, sold now. New owners oblivious, whispering to the bricks. Obey this, we're free. Wine stains gone. But lessons etched. Karma didn't knock. It settled in. Quiet as forgiveness. The end? Open. Like the city skyline. Debate on. World. I've got coffee brewing.